And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner. It's Monday, the 12th of June, after a very hot weekend. We really shouldn't complain. It's nice when it's hot. And Ollie, you're back from holiday. How are you?
Yes, very well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm fine. You were down, I think, near Rock or in Rock.
Yeah, and it was pretty hot all week and nice and quiet after the end of half term.
Very good. Okay, the markets are still pretty quiet today, but let's see what we can discuss. I'll let you kick off.
Yeah, there's definitely getting into summer markets in terms of news flow. In the large caps, we've got news out from Glencore and Thungela. I'm still not quite sure how to say that. But Glencore have made an alternative proposal to ultimately acquire Teck, this time by buying the met coal business for cash. The plan would then be to merge with Teck and then spin out the coal company once they've delevered down to a combined balance sheet of about $5 billion. But we'll see whether that is sufficient to persuade the family behind Teck and to convince them it's the right thing to do. I think one interesting thing in the announcement is that it specifically highlights that the deal would benefit Canada. I don't think that's necessarily something we've seen that often in this sort of announcement. So that's a bit of a.
Glencore are pretty determined to get this, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
They'll cook it, slice it, dice it, and whatever you want. They just want to get it.
Yeah, so perhaps holding out a bit longer, they could get even better priced.
Yeah. Okay.
Thungela, obviously coal prices have come down quite a lot. This is their pre-close, pre-trading announcement. Coal prices in the period average $135 a ton. That's down from $271 a ton. Production was pretty much in line with guidance, and obviously being producer in South Africa, there was some inflation, but in the context of what's going on in the rest of the world, 12.5% year on year seems relatively modest for the period. That's in rand terms, and that cost performance was in line with guidance. They did get some rail disruption though, which affected shipping, but predominantly the numbers seem to be in line with expectations.
Okay. A couple of little ones out on AIM. I know Tungsten West have announced a partnership with Fusion, or Infusion, should we say. I think Fusion is still quite a long way off, so I think it's just a nice sort of thing that they're doing, and no harm in that. It's a collaboration agreement with Oxford Sigma. I don't think that's going to affect anything short term. Fusion is probably about 20 years away, unfortunately. And also, I noticed that Asia, I don't know if you saw that one, Ollie, have announced sort of strategic review of up advisors, appointed corporate update sort of thing. Asia, I mean, it's one of those stocks. It was a real punter's favorite. Unfortunately, it ended up as a sort of what I describe as a private equity company being listed on AIM, which never really quite works, does it?
No, it's always struggled with the fact that although it's the geology's fantastic there, once you get into the sort of commercial development stage, you've got to contend with the fact that it is in Indonesia, and people ultimately aren't prepared to put the capital in for a copper project when you're giving up 50% or so of the project for all of the capital. So it's a tough sell when there are limited options, but still only a few for copper.
All right, you got anything else?
there's a revised scoping study from Savannah Resources, numbers, highlighting that lithium prices have gone up really. NPV8 of $953 million of capex of $236 million. That still looks like quite a good number despite the cost inflation over the past couple of years. And their C1 cost is $292 against a new SC6 price of $1,600. So the economics still make sense there, but they're only producing a spodumene concentrate in Europe, and they need a downstream option, which is the problem they've got to solve to take this project further.
Okay, and maybe finally, I've just been, I'll always take a request from any company, but Fission have just asked me to remind people that the deadline to vote for their general meeting special resolution is 10 o'clock Pacific time on June the 16th. And obviously they would like everybody to vote for. So there you go, little request by Fission Uranium. I think that'll do, Ollie, won't it?
Yep, back tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Andrew.